Hello. It's been a long time. I've started and stopped this 100 times in my head, and I think the only honest way to begin this is just to begin. So, I'm here. Thank you for being here too. After the silence, I'm coming back, slowly. A return to this space, one quiet message at a time. Some absences need no explanation. This one I want to give to you, gently and in my own time. This is in loving memory of my son, Cory. And every word I find my way back to will carry him. Now, I know a lot of you may have some questions what happened to my son. And so I'm just going to give you a brief explanation here because I would be curious as well. And as I've said many times, I like to treat people the way I would like to be treated. So on April 9th, I asked Cory, I'm going to Costco. Do you need anything? So he gave me a few lists. And, it's just my husband and I. And Cory lived actually quite close to us, about a kilometer away, less than a mile for those who use miles. And so we often shared Costco things. I mean, we don't need a whole flat of nectarines, but, we would share them with him. So I asked him what he needed, and that was on April 9th. And he gave me his list of a few things. He goes, yeah, I wouldn't mind this and wouldn't mind that. And yeah, if you're getting some fruit, we'll split that and just really regular things. And also, I was helping Cory get a YouTube channel together. He was going to talk about and sell sports cards. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sports cards. And he did his research and he was going to set up, and he had his studio all set up. And he sent me a text with a bunch of pictures, mini video. I'm ready to go. And we had plans that weekend to get together, and we were going to start recording this YouTube, and I was going to get him up and running on a YouTube channel. So that was on April 9th. So that's basically what we talked about. So when April 10th came, and generally he said he said I'll be around noon and I'll come by and get my Costco stuff and we'll have lunch. And all right. And so it was, I don't know, around 1:32, I sent him a text and like, are you coming? And nothing. And he was also supposed to meet my husband, or talk to my husband about something. And my husband asked me, he says, have you heard from Cory today? And I said, no. And he was supposed to be here at noon to pick up his Costco stuff and have lunch. But it was a beautiful day, a very beautiful day. So around 3:30, I sent him another text saying, oh, did you take Luna for a nice walk? It's such a beautiful day. And nothing. And then I'm thinking it was about 5:30, I had this body rush like I've never had anything before, and it was like right through my whole body. And I said to my husband, are you getting worried you haven't heard from Cory? He said, yeah, actually I am. But it's a beautiful day. Maybe he's out with the dog or, all right. And so around 10 o'clock, we still hadn't heard from Cory. So my husband said, I'm going to go over to this house. Remember, he's just a kilometer away. So he gets over there and he starts ringing the doorbell and banging on the door. And he texts me and goes, Luna's not here. Like his dog. I mean, you just park on the driveway and the dog's going crazy. No barking, nothing. He goes, Luna's not here. So we thought, that's weird. I said, well, go to the back door and see. And he's banging on the back door. No, no, Luna, no, the dog's not here. The dog would have heard me banging on windows and banging on doors. So then we thought, well, maybe he went to his friend's cabin, which he did. He does do quite a bit in the summertime, and they water ski and whatnot there. So I said, okay, well, in the morning, if we haven't heard from him, I'll contact his friend Curtis, and ask, is Cory at the cabin with you? Fair enough. So I barely slept that night because I knew something was wrong. I knew something was very wrong. And I finally got out of bed at 6:30 in the morning, having barely not slept. And I said, something's not right. I said, I'm going to call the police and do a wellness check. And you think, why would you think that? Well, number one, we hadn't heard, nobody had heard from him since the 9th. Oh, let me back up. On the 10th, on that Friday, the 10th, we were texting all his friends. Have you heard from Cory? Have you heard from Cory? No, no, no. Actually, I haven't heard from him all day. Um, and so that's why when I woke up in the morning, I thought something is wrong. And I'm getting flashes of what happened to my sister. And I then called the police. I said, we need to do a wellness check on my son. It's been well over 24 hours since we had heard from him. Remember, the last time I heard from him was on the 9th. And now this is the morning of the 11th. I said, we checked on him and his dog wasn't there. But the curious thing is, his phone is in the house. That's what we couldn't figure out. His phone is in the house because I have location on his phone. And we traded locations with each other. So um, I had the location. I said, and I even text my niece. I said, do you have Cory's location on your phone? She goes, yeah, he did that with everybody. Cory loved everybody, was friendly with everybody. And I said, where is he? And she said, oh, he's at home. I said, no, he's not. The dog's not there. If the dog's not there, Cory's not there. End of story. And so the police showed up and they did a ping on his phone and said, yeah, his phone's in the house. And I said, well, he's not there because his dog's not there. And so anyways, we noticed his bedroom window was open. So the police then just said, I'm going to ask the neighbors for a ladder and we're going to see if we can get in there and see what's going on. And it was a female police officer. She got up to the window, she took the screen off, she opened the window, and she says, oh, the dog is here. And we said, what? She goes, yeah, the dog is here. And then I started saying, well, is Cory there? Is Cory there? And she wouldn't answer me. And I knew exactly that Cory was there. Because she would have said, no, Cory's not here, just the dog is here. And she wouldn't answer, she wouldn't answer. And finally she says, I'm so sorry. And I went numb. I'm not going to say crazy. I just started screaming and, well, I don't have to go into the details. I'm sure you can imagine. So we actually had no idea what happened, like what happened. And of course, what goes through your mind when someone's found in bed is, you know, did they do this to himself? But we knew Cory wouldn't do that. We absolutely knew he was not the type to do that. And he would not leave his dog. We just knew that. And so they had to do an autopsy because he's 40 years old and found in bed, not alive. And the autopsy came back and it was heart failure. He had a very enlarged heart and hardening of the arteries. And Cory was the type of person, he didn't trust medical doctors. This was totally preventable. He had very high blood pressure, and very high blood pressure can enlarge your heart. And he thought that he was doing all the right things with diet and exercise, and apparently he wasn't. So that's what happened. That's how I lost my son at age 40. And, it's taken me a long road, but I got to this point that, if you're going to go, how many of us would prefer just to fall asleep and not wake up? So we don't know exactly what time Cory passed. I'm going to say that it was on the 10th. I'm going to say he might have been in like medical distress, and that's why he wasn't responding to our texts. And then when I felt that body rush swoop, Like it was almost as if a strong wind came up and went right through my whole body. I'm going to say that's when his silver cord broke and his soul departed. So in my heart, it was the 10th. In my husband's heart, it was the 10th. But officially, it's the 11th because that's the law. It's the day they find you, not necessarily the day um, that you pass. So that's why a lot of the official things say April 11th. But he was actually gone on the 10th. And the small blessing that I have is that my husband did not get into that house and find him, because I think that would have been worse. Um, can you imagine? He was like, I'm going to smash a window. And I'm like, no, no, no. We'll figure this out. Something, maybe, he went off to the cabin and forgot his phone. Like, don't be smashing windows. And thank goodness. Thank goodness. So he is the reason for my silence. And he'll be the reason for every gentle thing I bring back here. I carry him into everything now. And why I went quiet was because grief took the words first. When I took the quiet certainty I lean on, the voice I call my intuition, when it took that from me, I'm like, how did I not know this? How did my intuition not know this was coming? And I have since understood that you're not meant to know everything. And that is one of the things. It does not mean my intuition was broken. It means I was being protected. And another reason I went quiet is I would never come to you with a signal I could not yet trust. And people kept asking when I'd come back. And the truth is, I couldn't. Not honestly. When grief takes your words, and then when it took the quiet certainty I lean on, the thing I call intuition, I would never come to you with a signal I didn't trust. So, how could I ask you to trust it? So, how I'm coming back. So, I'm not coming back all at once. I'm coming back slowly. First, just by listening again. Then, by sharing the small things that come through. And in time, when it's real, everything else. So, these first months, for now, I will bring you only one thing: messages from Spirit. I'm not teaching, I'm not doing readings on demand, I'm not jumping back into the full schedule. Just one thing: the messages from Spirit that come through clearly. Only when I trust that completely. Now, what does that going to look like? That's going to look like, here's your spirit message of the day. Here's a pick a card. Um, that's how I'm going to come back. I have to learn to trust myself again. And I'm going to do it slowly. I'm not jumping back right the way it was. And why I'm only doing this is because this channel must be trustworthy. I'm rebuilding the trust between me and what comes through slowly without forcing it. Spirit is where my strength returns first. And I want to tell you why I'm holding it to just this. Because you deserve that. You don't deserve anything less than me at my full potential. And I'm not going to rush it, and I hope you don't want me to. There is no schedule. I will share when Spirit calls and not before. Some weeks will hold something, some will stay quiet. Both are part of the healing. And I'm asking you to be okay with both. And if you are grieving too, and I know so many of you are, then we're already together in this. You don't have to be strong here, and neither do I. And that's the whole point of the space that we keep. And I want to thank you for staying. I want to thank you for the thousands, and I mean thousands of messages I could not yet answer. And I want to thank you for not letting the quiet mean goodbye. You held this open until I can return to it, and I will be forever grateful. And I could feel you even when I couldn't say so. I could feel all of you praying and holding me up, even when I couldn't say so, even when the words weren't there. So until Spirit speaks again, please continue to stay close and be gentle with yourselves. And I'll see you again soon. And what it's going to look like, I don't know. Like I said, it could be a pick a card day. It could be, this is what Spirit is telling me. I'm learning to hear messages from Cory. If I hear special messages from him, I'll be sure to share them. I don't know what it's going to look like. I honestly don't. But I also know if I don't start somewhere, it'll never start. So I've got to start somewhere, and I know you will appreciate that. And I can already hear you cheering me on, and I can already hear you all supporting me and loving me and praying for me and my son and my family. And I don't know if I have the words of gratitude or I'll be able to express the gratitude that fills my heart. And it's a pretty big hole I've got in my heart. And you are helping to fill it. And I just want to let you know that. So you deserve to hear from me. I apologize for the silence, but I know all of you understand. Please don't be offended if I don't respond to your comments. I see them, I read them. I just don't have the wherewithal to reply. If you see a little heart, you know I'm having a better day. If you don't, that doesn't mean I'm ignoring or I don't appreciate you, because I do. And one day I'll make it all up to you. So thank you so much for holding this space open. Thank you for being you. I often say I have the best viewers in the world, and you guys have proven that time and time again. Please take good care of yourself. Look after your health. Kiss your children. Tell people you love them. Don't let a moment go by, because you just never know. Bye for now.